Hello and welcome to the Enlighten Me with Ronny podcast, with your host Ronny. Before we start this conversation, let's jump to our esteemed panel of global leaders. First out is George Bush. How are you today?
Vision of one man to launch a wholly unjustified and brutal invasion of Iraq.
Okay, well that's weird, but let's hear from President Joe Biden.
And now is a time when things are shifting. There's gonna be a new world order out there, and we've got to lead it. We've got to unite the rest of the free world in doing it. So,
Oh, really? Well, how about Canada? Justin Trudeau. What are you planning?
Building back better.
Okay, how about the Australians? What is your plan?
We will be looking at what contact tracing looks like in the New World Order. And yes, it will be pubs and clubs and
And esteemed Klaus Schwab at the World Economic Forum.
In short, we need a great reset.
World Government Summit. Your thoughts about the subject?
At Dubai Expo 2020. And the title of this session, are we ready for a new world order?
Okay, let's change subject. What is COVID-19? Mr. Gates, if you will.
It's a disease mainly of the elderly, kind of like flu.
And we have some sad news, I hear.
Well, sadly, the virus itself, particularly the variant called Omicron, is a type of vaccine that.
We do have some great news, doesn't we, Hillary?
Unconfirmed. Yes, we came, we saw, he died. Did it have anything to do with your visit? No, I'm sure it did.
I also hear that we have an unjust war in Ukraine. So who are we fighting for?
Right now, it's a critical time because we know that we not only fight for Ukraine, we fight for this new world order.
Fuck it.
This, if you would be satisfied, I think the service, the signal has gotten loads better.
Yeah, at the moment it's doable, I think.
I'm way more comfortable not looking at my ugly face too, you know?
Ah, yeah. Yeah, well, we can do just an audio version of this. That's fine.
Okay, so, all right, well, how do these usually work? I'll tell you what, I've listened to podcasts nonstop all day, every day for the past, probably 5 or 6 years. But as far as being a guest, I've never done anything like this. You could probably tell by my podcast that I don't know what the hell I'm doing. I just wing it, buddy.
I listened to the World Economic Forum episode you did, and I was like, is this guy from radio or what? Because you had the background noise in like the first 15 minutes or something. So have you been in radio or?
No, I just kind of take shit from, other platforms, like just sound bites from other platforms and kind of make them silly. But as far as background music, no, I use this app for a podcast called Anchor. Okay. And I don't know, they have a bunch of background music. No, I have no, my background is I am a carpenter by trade. I moved to Michigan from Indiana to grow pot, to grow marijuana. And I ended up, I still do that on a personal basis, but now I just have a homestead. I have a little farm. I raise chickens. We do what we do. I take care of my family. We're doing homeschool now. I make money how I can, how I want. And I don't ask questions or for permission, that's for sure. I listened to you talk on the podcast, your last one. It was the now I'm losing my mind. I can't remember who you just had on the podcast. It was a husband and wife.
Yeah, it's a false reality check.
Yeah, false reality check. You know what? I definitely relate with them guys. They seem like they're new on homestead.
Yeah,
But
they moved a year ago, I think.
yeah, but they went all in, and that's what you got to do. You have to go all in, or it won't work. You're gonna be stuck on Google's fucking under their thumb for the rest of your life.
Yeah, I know. I'm like halfway out, halfway in. I don't think I would ever be able to do full homesteading. I'm too lazy.
I'm a lazy dude, but man, I'll tell you what, I have kids. They help me stay motivated. They make sure, and my wife makes sure I stay busy if you know. But when you see what you're building, you know you got to do it. It's worth the effort, even though you don't really get much back as far as finances. In my opinion, just the beauty of it all the nature, unplugging as much as possible. It's it definitely is a blessing to say the least, you know, to make this choice. I feel good.
Yeah, but how do you do you have animals? How do you feed them? Who's paying for the food for them and such things like
Well,
that?
well, we have chickens. Okay, right now they're paying for their own food. Uh, we have 60 birds in total. We've got chickens, ducks, and 2 turkeys. Well, with just the eggs alone, and we're selling them at $2 a dozen on the side of the road, and it's cheaper than what you're getting them in the stores right now. Well, they pay for their own feed. Also, we use table scraps. They eat everything that we won't eat. You know, anything that most people will just throw in the trash. Well, or on a homestead, they might use it for compost. So we don't really have that because the chickens would tear that shit up. But yeah, they're not really expensive. If you got the shelter for them, they basically take care of themselves. And if you get too poor to buy food, they'll eat their own eggs. You know, that might be good for a day. I wouldn't keep going with it, but they'll eat their own eggs. The calcium in the eggshells actually helps their eggs stay hard when they lay them. You know?
Okay.
So yeah, and you learn so much about life just watching these little suckers run around, watching how they
Yeah,
eat.
do you know Tim Poulis?
Tim Pool, yeah, I do. I watch him actually kind of regularly. I slowed down after the Kyle Rittenhouse trials or during the Kyle Rittenhouse trials. But yeah, I really do like that show. I think,
Yeah,
yeah.
they have started the chicken stream, so I put on that from time to time and watch those chickens do their chicken things.
Yeah, I haven't caught that, but I think it's pretty cool. You know, he's new at it too, and to hear him talk about it, how amazed he is and how excited he is with each step of the way, each thing he learns, it's awesome, and that's what it's about. We learning to do better, to move forward, where people like you and me, they want to hold us backwards. They want to keep pushing us down. So
Yeah,
yeah, Tim Pool, they have a good show. I'll have to check in on that. What is that? Chicken City?
yeah, just search
Yeah.
Chicken City on YouTube and it's the first thing.
It's funny that he names all the chickens. You know, we do too. We name all our chickens. And from experience, when you name your animals, it's hard to kill them and eat them. It is. When you treat them
Yeah,
as pets, it's not psychologically easy to handle, in my opinion.
yeah, I think I wouldn't name if I had chickens. They would be just chickens. Easier. That's way.
Well, we turkeys this fall. They're big birds. But I don't think we can bring ourselves to eat in our hands, not these ones. I think we'll just let them live out their lives, and I don't know what we'll do when they're done. We'll have to figure that out. We might feed other people with them.
Yeah, sell the meat.
Mm.
Yeah, you have to do something. I think it's pointless
Well,
to just have them.
see, like, I mean, I'm in a community, a very small community. It's a poor community, you know. So there's a little local schoolhouse just around the corner from me, about 5 miles down the road or so. And like, if we have chicken eggs or chicken meat or any of that, I'll take them to that school. and the kids and the kids' parents from that school will gladly take them home. So yeah, we try to take care of the community out here as they do us. It was a nice
awesome.
thing to find. Yeah, it was a very nice thing to find. I'm sorry, I keep interrupting you. I see you're hitting the mute button. I should probably try to figure out how to do that too when you talk.
And yeah, I just mute because I'm moving around and my chair is making noises, so I made sure it wouldn't come up and disturb.
Okay, yeah. Okay. Yeah, there's probably some background music here. I know I've heard my rooster crowing a few times. Not to mention I'm smoking right now.
Good for you, man. I need to hold myself for an hour here. That's
Yeah.
fine. So that's the introduction, I guess, from both of us. Oh, I didn't say much where I'm from, so I can say that to you. So I'm in Finland. If you know where Finland is, it's in the northern Europe.
I am aware where it is. Yeah, I see it's pretty exciting over there for you guys right now, huh?
Yeah, we have big things cooking and they're trying to get us into NATO, but Turkey is saying no at the moment, so we'll see what happens about that.
Well, I don't know what side you take. I don't want war. So I say good on Turkey.
Yeah, for sure. I'm also with him. I should send him some flowers if we really manage to stand up and hold us out.
Yeah, until he needs to exploit you. Don't give him too much credit.
Yeah, the one thing I'm a bit concerned about is when we have applied to NATO, if Turkey says no, what would Russia say then? Okay, you tried, you failed, and now you're up for grabs. So that's maybe something that's coming.
I'm sorry, man. I think you should learn Russian if you don't know it already.
I don't. I won't. I will take my car and drive as far away as I can. I will not fight this bankers wars. They can have it. I'm out.
What is the environment like? What are the people? What are your citizens in Finland like there? What do they feel about Putin? Does he seem like he's actually trying to take over the whole Europe?
The Putin himself says no, but the media, yeah, they're trying to fan that fire that he's going to build back the old Soviet. And the people is, yeah, they went pretty Nazi pretty fast. I saw some comments on the government news we have called Yle, and a guy said that when we need to sanction more than oil and we need to kick out everyone with a Russian passport in this country and the stuff like that. So I was like, yeah, that went dark pretty fast.
Yeah, of course he would
People
say
are
that.
ready to start hunting Russians, and I'm like, maybe we should step back and look at this for a second.
So your guys' propaganda machine is basically like mine. It's like ours here. It's the same thing, huh?
Basically, the foreign news comes from BBC and AP, and I think they use one more site, sometimes CNN and stuff like that. But it's mostly BBC and AP. So yeah. They're copy pasting and putting in Google Translate basically.
Yeah.
Sell it like it's news that they have fucking digged up, and I'm like, dude, I can read it on this press release. Fucking straight up propaganda, nothing more or less. It's stupid and people buy it.
Well, I don't know if a lot of people know or not. Here in America, when Obama when he was president, one of the first things he did in 2012, as well as one of the last things he did in 2008, and then 2016 when he got out, was sign bills into office making propaganda legal to use against us. So they've kind of quietly kept that, in their in the back burner of things they can use, and now they're letting it seep out, and they're just firing us with propaganda left and right, and that's all we get. It's either propaganda or an abundance of information and misinformation and whatever the hell the difference between that and disinformation is. Anyway, we're getting so much of it, you can't even find out the truth. It's a good thing we have, podcasts are basically the only way to learn anything real these days.
Yeah, that's so true. And it's the same here. I think Trump broke some brains. Something happened to people. Just last week I went home and talked to my father, and we talked about the Russian situation, and then he out of nowhere just said that I hope Trump doesn't come back. So I was like, what do you mean? Don't you like half the price of gasoline and stuff like that? So I was, yeah, but he lies. So I was like, what about? And he was like, everything. I was like, doesn't every politician do that? And he lies about the small things because, okay, big things too, but he says like, I'm the greatest at whatever. And he's not. And media is like, he's lying. He's not the greatest. Here are 3 people that are better than him. I'm like, dude, we know. it's so stupid the things they fact check. So it's I don't know what to do about this. How do you talk with people? Do you get them to realize something is going on, or are people like the people I talk to is you get like 10 minutes, then they shut down? And
Yeah, just like with you, as soon as you say anything real, Ronnie, they're done. They don't want to talk. And whether it be family, friends, or anybody, it's as soon as you start talking politics, if you don't tell the line, they shut up. And when I say toe the line, I'm sure you know what I mean. It's just when you don't follow the propaganda from the machine. It's the same old indoctrinated bullshit that we've all been hearing since, in my country at least, since the 50s, since after World War II. And it's basically trust your overlords.
yeah, I mean, I think it's been going on for thousands of years. We just see it now when we have the internet, and it's so easy to look up stuff, especially under Trump when they said like he doesn't condemn the Nazis, and then some guy makes a video him saying I condemn Nazis for like 10 minutes, and you're like, dude, we can see the video. Such simple things they still say.
Yeah, that's still but that's propaganda. That's what they say. That's propaganda, though. The truth, it doesn't matter if it's factual or not. It really doesn't. The facts are propaganda. And when you say you think Trump broke some brains, I couldn't relate more. I really couldn't. He broke my brain. I voted for him. It was the first time I ever voted in my life, and I basically voted for him because he was funny, because he talked shit to everybody. He said he would lock up corrupt politicians. I freaking loved it. He said, and he made a joke about it, but he seemed serious. I'm going to lock Hillary up. But he duped me. He fooled me. And he put nothing but the swamp. He overfilled the swamp with CEOs from oil companies, from big banks. Now, did he do some good things for our economy, the world economy? Hell yeah, he probably helped out everybody, and well, not everybody, but he helped out a lot of countries not so fortunate as America. I can't really speak for them. I don't really know the specifics.
Yeah,
Gas was down to $1.05.
I know is it his child's husband, the one that's meddling in Middle East, making the peace deals?
Kushner?
Yeah, Kushner, yeah. But he also have some kind of foundation that Saudis pay a lot of money to. And that's why Trump also went to Saudi Arabia, the first country he visited when he became president. So that's some shady business going on there, but there's no one talking about it because I think they all do it.
No,
So
Of course they're not talking
if they
about.
call out him for doing that, they have to call out themselves. So they're trying to do some Russian spy shit. That did not work out, or they're trying even still. But
Well, we've been on that narrative for a long time. The Russia, every collusion, the spies, everything. Hell, since way before we were born, you and I. But as far as the Saudi Arabia thing, Jesus Christ, there's so much secrecy going on there. I mean, Lebanon's basically being demolished right now. I don't know why. They don't talk about it at all. You ain't got no propaganda even about that. Their propaganda is total silence as far as Saudi Arabia goes.
yeah, I know Saudis is calling that they have some kind of terrorists in there. I don't really know the situation. I just know there are a lot of people dying and nobody seems to care. That's I know the Saudis are saying they are fighting some terrorists. So that I know for sure. I don't remember the name of them at the moment. But
Well, and then you talked about how they wouldn't, or they were talking shit about Trump not condemning Nazis. They made such a big deal about that. Well, I mean, Russia's fighting Nazis right now, literal Nazis over there. Am I wrong? I mean, as far from my understanding, the Azov battalion, they're rooted with Nazis and they're still very, very sympathetic with their causes.
yeah, for sure. They have days of I don't know how big they are. I hear different things, but most of the numbers I've seen come from mainstream media, so I don't believe anything they say. So they might be a million guys, even though they're saying it's like 1,000 something. I'm like, maybe not. It's
Well,
hard to know.
I'll cite a guy I listened to, Ryan Christian from the Last American Vagabond. I'm not sure if you're familiar with him or not.
I
That
know him,
news
yeah.
source. Okay, well, the way he puts it is Azov Battalion is more like an Azov. It's a movement rather than a military group anymore. Like it started off with just a group in their as their national guard in Ukraine, and this is, as my understanding, it might be off, but I'm gonna be as close as as close as I can. But they started off as a National Guard battalion, just a small one in Ukraine to help them when they overtook what was the last president of Ukraine's name? When 2014, I don't
Yeah,
remember
the
his name.
Maidan revolution, whatever his
Yeah.
name was, yeah.
So I guess they were brought in to help with the Russians, to help fend them off or get them out or whatever the hell they were doing. And since then, they have just built. They have they have taken money from us, from the Americans. It's a lot of shady deals going on over there. They won't talk about. You hear about the Bidens over in Ukraine. Trump was trying to look into him, and that's why they impeached him for trying to look into the Biden's mess over there. So, as far as I'm concerned, our government has built up another huge terrorist organization like we did ISIS.
Yeah, the Mujahideen, that became Al Qaeda, then ISIS.
Yes. Yeah, the history. That's there's so much context in the history of all the wars that have nothing to do with America except our money and influence. But our citizens know nothing about it. And it's very important to know before you're going to try to take sides. So we've got mindless people just ready to go to war here in our country over shit they have no idea about. And the way you put it earlier, when we first started talking, it's like that there where you're at.
Yeah, and yeah, I've heard him talk about the movement also as it's bigger than it is, because I think Zelensky even said it, that they are very grateful to them and they are the only reason Ukraine is what it is at this moment. So I don't know how many, but I was trying to look up a news article from New York Times that has the the headline FBI backed ISIS fights CIA backed ISIS or something like that, and it's such a telling story when you're funding everybody and they're fighting each other, and basically the USA is pulling the strings of everybody, and it's so stupid.
It's like the bankers of the past, like the Rothschilds of the past. It's just the names have switched. I think it's probably still the same people, and the tactics have never changed. But yeah, it is a very telling story. I agree with you. I mean, just the prospect of it. You talking about it? I
Yeah,
don't think I've caught that.
I found it. It's a Los Angeles Times. In Syria, militias armed by the Pentagon fight those armed by the CIA, and like it's a story about that. So it's how do one cope with that shit, that the two factions that are fighting are both getting paid by the same country, and people think it's not made up bullshit, and we should be angry at some of them. I'm so fucking angry. CIA didn't pay them enough. I'm like, yeah.
I wish the only answer I could come up with is that they've conditioned us to do just that, to not give a shit, to be lied to and just move on. We're like abused children or an abused spouse. It's like it really is the mental damage that I like to call them our overlords. That's fuck, because I don't know who they are that's doing it, but I know there's somebody out there that's in control and making all this shit up and causing all of the trauma and the turmoil, the fighting, the wars. It's but anyway, it's our overlords. I lost track of thought. I'm sorry.
Yeah, but do you think, because I have a bit of struggle with this, are they very open about it? Like we have the World Economic Forums, the Bilderberg guys, or are somebody above them? Because I have a map here on my wall that says the Committee of 300 and the Council of 13, and then it's some guy called Pindar in the top that's supposed to be a white giant or something. But the Council of 13, the 13 biggest family names that basically built USA, do you think they still have power, or is it the new guys that we see? Because they are saying stuff at the World Economic Forum, and what they're saying is happening. So is it? I think it's very simple. They put out the message, and everybody does it. So I don't think they are even working in the shadows anymore. I think that's the old guys did that. The new guys doesn't do that. They straight up say what they're doing, and if you listen, you listen. If you don't, it's they say it's a conspiracy, and they have a fucking YouTube channel where you can sit and watch them talk. So
you make a great point. Yeah, I'm sorry. You make a great point there, Ronnie. I never really you almost you just can't believe it. You just can't believe that they would be out in the open like they are. And I do think that the World Economic Forum and them and Klaus Schwab, I think they have somebody that they're answering to. I don't think that they're the final. You go deeper down rabbit holes and you hear about the Club of Rome and the Black Cube and there's so many more old clubs and secret societies that are still lingering around, but they're still in the shadows, but they're not gone. There's still remnants of them. Now, I guess I'd be better off showing you some proof. I don't really have it in front of me. They won't give you no proof. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, but I think they are really fucking big egos because they don't care. Because when Jones went and filmed the Bohemian Grove, they didn't stop. They continued, and they have press releases. We have it this weekend, and we know what they do. They go there and fuck each other, then they pray to a fucking owl. And people know that, and they didn't stop. How crazy is that? I'm
Super
like,
crazy.
it's such a weird thing. You would think if you're doing it and then you get caught, you have a video of them doing it, and they're still like, yeah, we're doing this year from 10th to 9th. Welcome this weekend, and people are like, what the fuck is going on? And they have fucking names written down. George Bush is in this lodge, and Cheney is in that one, and whoever on the fucking right. People go on like nothing happened.
Yeah, you got it. It's unexplainable. It's not something you and I can fathom. The same people have been the same way for, like you said, probably thousands of years, and it's they don't know any different. They think they're superior, and they believe it 100% that they're superior. So I guess they will keep doing it. And so who do you think is at the top then? You think it's the World Economic Forum in that?
I'm leaning to that, yeah. I'm leaning to it, yeah. They might try. I know they have the rituals, so they're praying to some gods. If they get answers or help, I don't know. Maybe. I would think it's doing something, or else they wouldn't do it.
Well, they definitely have all the most influential people, you know. I mean, you said you listened to my World Economic Forum episode. I didn't mention Ivanka Trump was in it, you know. I don't know if Kushner's in there, but I wouldn't be surprised. We got Elon Musk, all the most influential people. So you might very well be right. So how can
Yeah,
we touch on
Elon is also in the new thing that people found this year that has been going on, the World Government Summit, that's apparently been open for years, and they also have a YouTube channel. And Elon has been there a few times. But
Well, see, I haven't.
I think they are also fighting between each other, because they're trying with the Great Reset now, and I'm pretty sure Klaus is not going to be the head of that. Or I know that. I know they're most likely killing him when he's done what he needs to do. But then they are fighting like Macron and
Well, hold on. You can't just. I'm sorry. I have to interrupt you. How you can't just drop a bomb like that to me and just move on? Like they're gonna kill Klaus Schwab off, and you basically know. Let's hear this, man.
no, that's what they always do. They use the front man to do the job, and when he's done, you kill him. That's the way it goes. That's always how it's done.
Okay.
Who wants? You can't have that guy running. If he comes on Finnish TV and you need to eat as the bugs, you are no good people. The fucking people is going to question everything. You can't have him.
Well, have you watched him the last few years on TV? I mean, the man gets younger. So if he's coming on there in 5 years looking 10, 15 years younger, you might even eat them molecules or them fucking bugs. I mean, hell, I might, you know? I mean, the dude's gonna live forever if they don't kill him off. I mean, he's got to be eating baby blood or something, you know? I don't know. Get into the rabbit holes, the crazy, crazy rabbit holes that you can't even discount, really. You can't discount the conspiracy, the real deep, dark conspiracy theories.
Yeah,
because,
that's the adrenochrome.
yes, yes.
And that's a weird conspiracy, because people say it's a conspiracy, then like a few months between, somebody from Hollywood or some elite comes out, yeah, I'm trying to get younger by eating children's blood. I'm like, wait,
Well,
what?
you can buy adrenochrome powders on the internet, and it's just it's there. I don't know. It's out there. Like you said, they make it so far out in the open, and the most unbelievable trash. We just deal with it. We just put up with it. It's out there. I'm not surprised at all ever anymore.
Yeah, who was this latest lady that came out and said she is drinking her partner's blood and is doing as a ritual, and then just moved on? I was
I'm
like,
unfamiliar.
oh, it was some Hollywood, a big ass star. Then she came out in an interview and she said that, yeah, me and my boyfriend or husband cut each other and drink each other's blood. But
Oh my God.
then she put it like just for ritual purposes and moved on. And the reporter did not ask, what the fuck? What do you mean? What ritual? What are you trying to do? That's the question you need to ask after that. So it's crazy.
No, their bosses said, "Hell on, no, they're not ready for that right now. You can't talk about that. Shut up." That's what went on there. Because no, I didn't hear anything about that. I believe it. I'm not surprised by it one bit.
Yeah, I should try to look it up. But I have a thing when we talk about the ego of these people, because I listened to Paul Manafort, that was Trump's guy, and he was on Patrick Bet David's podcast. Pretty new, but he's a decent big podcaster. But the one thing that struck me was he came on and was like, the media said I did this in Ukraine and I worked with some Russians, and he was like, yes, I worked with Russians, but I tried to make Ukraine come into the EU, and he talked about the polls he's been doing with the people. So then it clicked for me. He is really, he's the ego. You he's trying to come out and say what he has done because he needs people to hear that how good
Mhm.
he's been. And the
Mhm.
things he's talked about what he's doing led to this war. So I was listening and I was like, does he not understand the things he's saying is not good things? And he was so proud. And that's why I think they are out on YouTube now also. And
Mhm.
also at the 2020 election, they put the article up. This is how we secured the election, and they went through everything they did, changed the laws and all the stuff to make sure Biden won. And I'm like, they're telling you, they're not hiding anything anymore. You just
Mhm.
have to look it up, and there's all there. They write books. The books they've been writing for hundreds of years. Have you listened to what's it called, the podcast that goes for 7 hours? Ooh, fuck. Grand Theft
Leon?
World. Grand Theft
Grand
World with
Theft
Richard.
World. I have not listened. I didn't know they go 7 hours. I had planned to listen. The 7 hour podcast is a lot. It should be. I hope it's good. They, they put a lot of
It
work
is
into it.
super good because he is reading the books and it's so fucking fascinating. When
Oh.
he's like, yeah, and they tried, let's Ukraine, they tried to do this and this and this, and then he brings out a book that the fucking person that did it has written down. Yes, I did this with this guy and this with this guy, and, and I'm like, and nobody goes to jail, and they write it in their books. It's so crazy. And all the old families have their books written down everything, and they're proud of what they've been doing. And yeah, I think it's a like a business card or something for them, for the
Mm.
elites between each other. If you need a guy to fuck up a country and he has written a book about how he started a war in Ukraine, you're like, okay, that guy can start wars. Let's hire him for the next war and whatever they have been doing. So that's how I look at it, at least.
And see, and I'm gonna take it a step further and go. See, I'm a spiritual guy. Okay, I'm gonna look at it like this. These people, if they don't think they're gods, they aspire to be gods. And for us to accept that ego is basically a way of worshiping these people. It gives them power, a different type of power, not just power politically, but an energetic spiritual power. And yeah, that shit helps them take control. It helps them keep control, helps them stay out of jail. It keeps them not good in the public's eye. And if they're bad in the public's eye, it just, hell, I don't even know what it keeps them from it. they All I know is that the ones in power, especially those with the biggest ego, will never go down. And yeah, like I said, it has to do with they're gaining our worship, and they have. There's new gods out there, and they have gained our worship. They, for the most part, and like how we're doing this podcast right now. We're using their technology. You know what I mean? I'm on my Android phone. You're on your computer. It looks like, but it was basically provided by these people. Whether or not we're using it to stick it to them, we're still basically reliant in a lot of ways on them. And we will always continue to be, because we're worshiping them while we're using their services, while we're we're okay with their lies and their egos collectively.
Yeah, yeah. I agree to that. That because as you're talking here, I looked up who the person that said she's drinking blood of her partner, and it was Megan Fox. And she is
Oh,
also talking here about the things you're saying, that it's for spiritual reasons, and she said like you take my soul, drink my blood and take my soul and stuff like that. So
and
yeah.
I don't think that's for show. You
No,
know, their job in Hollywood, that's show. Their real life, when they speak, I would believe these people. I believe them all. I don't think they're lying. I think they live in a crazy ass world, but they really live in it, and it really exists. All of it.
yeah, that's why when Jim Carrey comes out on shows sometimes and spews a lot of crazy shit, then people laugh at him. And he is
Yeah.
like, "You think I'm lying? Don't you think
Yeah.
Jimmy Kimmel knows this?" And he's doing the Illuminati eyes and saying everything, and people are laughing. I'm like, no, he has a bad day or something. He's
Mm-mm.
opening up and letting like speaking truth. He's not joking.
Yeah.
It's,
And but okay, but why are they still letting him do work? Because people don't believe him, you think?
yeah, I think so, because he's a comedian. People laugh at
Mm-hmm.
him when he says they're doing all
Mm-hmm.
the rituals and all the shit that he's talking about, and people
Yeah.
just
They
laugh.
picture yeah, they picture the rubber face while he's saying that shit, you know. The old movies he used to do. They picture the mask on him when he's saying shit.
Yeah, and for the people that listen, just look up Jim Carrey speaks out or something. It's their
Mhm.
videos, like half an hour videos from different clips when he is talking about stuff. So it's I think they just don't care, because they know like 99% of the people doesn't believe what he's saying, and
Mhm.
I think they can't compute, like the computer in the head is error. They don't know what he's saying. Uh, so they just let him go on. That's what I think.
So how do it's hard to how do we just surely the whole population isn't that dull or or that unaware that we can't see. It's blatantly, and it's right in front of our eyes every single day. It, how do we how did we get to this point where we allow them to take control of basically the way we think as a populace? I that's what I'm looking for. That's what I want to get into. It's they got us so they got us in such a big mind fuck over COVID. But I think it started way before that.
Yeah, I talked about that with my girlfriend, that the COVID lockdowns, they would never have worked in like the 60s. The people that was growing up in the 60s, the hippies that doing LSD and shouting no war. If you said to them, we're going to lock your asses down for a year, they would have dragged those guys out of wherever they're sitting and burned them on the street. So it's a long process. They they made the technology that we're now so dependent on, so we're lazy. I'm lazy too. I'm trying to
That's
grow some food, but I if the world crashes, I'm fucked. I have like if they wait to the next winter, then I have food for maybe a month. Then I'm begging on the street like everyone else. So
yeah, and they're taking control of the food supply as we speak. Here in America, we didn't have enough fertilizer during the spring, so they're talking about an enormous depletion of our harvest this fall. So there will be hunger all around the world because of that. Not to mention, you got the breadbasket of the world right in your backyard. What's happening there? Is that food gonna grow? Are they gonna harvest this year?
as what I've seen, they're trying, but it's they're also burning some of the grain. So I don't think so. But I know for my country, Finland, we have pretty decent self-sufficient country that we are not going to die like if we don't get grain from Ukraine. I know there's a lot of other countries in Europe that will struggle hard. So it depends how we do it, because when we are in the EU, I'm guessing if it really goes bad, they are going to go full communist and say we are taking grain from Finland and giving it to other, so everybody is equal dying, like a million people in every fucking country dies.
Equals slow death for you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm thinking that's what would happen in that case.
See,
So
I'm thinking here in America, we'll be okay as far as hunger. I think our government they'll take care of us. You know what I mean? As far as feeding the people. Um, Hell, they have dished out so much money as far as food goes during the COVID lockdowns. Even still today, they're still handing out enormous amounts of food stamps. So yeah, I think they'll continue to take care of the people, but afterwards, when it starts to get better again, I think that a lot of people are going to suffer here. I think that a lot of people are going to get exploited in the labor markets. Right now, it's hard to find a job. So, I mean, I'm sorry, it's so easy to find a job. It's hard to find employees. So when the market changes again to where everybody needs a fucking job, it's going to be so hard to find a job. These companies are going to be able to have a basically have us all under their thumb as far as working for them. If I don't make sense.
yeah, I understand. I'm actually the first week unemployed now, so I've started looking. I know I can get like a job tomorrow at some shit factory for like the minimum of wage, but I'll see. I'll wait a month. If nothing comes up, I've sent some emails. I'll take the shit job, but yeah, it's I don't feel it's such a weird position to be in. This is the first time in my life. I'm 31 years old and I don't have a job at the moment. So it's a weird thing. It feels
Well, you
great.
put a lot of work. You put a lot of work in your podcasting. It's obvious, and I mean, even if it doesn't put out, even if it's a job and it's investing in yourself. That me personally, that's what I'm into. Self-investment. That you're learning right now. You're putting effort into it. You're getting viewers. I don't know how the heck you land in these guests that you're getting. Guys that I've listened to for a while, some of them. I can't wait to see the one you're excited about, Charlie. Um, but I think that you're doing a good job, and I think that if you push forward with what you're doing right here, you're in a niche that's needed right now. People are seeking for truth, and you're doing that. You're handing it out.
Yeah, I've been surprised actually that I have some friends here that have reached out and said that was a great episode and stuff like that. Because when you sit like a group, everybody, and I start screaming about whatever the topic is, and most of the guys tune out, and I have actually been like censored in real life. At one point,
Mhm.
they told me, if you want to come and hang out, you can't say nothing. Like nothing controversial at all. So I remember one evening I went out and I was talking COVID and I just sat there smiling and everybody looked at me. He's going to say something. I didn't say shit. So I was like, yeah, but that's no way to do it. So yeah,
It's not.
I'm
It
going to speak
isn't.
out and they have to, if they're in close by, they are going to hear what I have to say.
Mhm. The only people that are going to hear what you have to say, Ronnie, in my opinion, are those seeking for it. I mean, I think we're beyond the point where we can really change minds. It's almost, it is a cult, whether or not people, I mean, you could argue with me and say it's not a cult. There's no leader. There's no religion. But yeah, they are. There's a bunch of different cults. But yeah, ultimately, these people's minds will not change. They're brainwashed. So, but yeah, I can relate to being censored in real life, by my own family. And I'm sure a lot of the people listening can relate to that too. It's people are scared to speak out. I've got more family listening to me now on my podcast in private than they ever would, face to face where other people are listening. It's fascinating just to see the mentality change especially after COVID came through. It's the fear people have of the unknown, the fear people have of being ostracized. It's that's alarming to me. That actually is surprising to me. So nothing else can really surprise me anymore after that.
Yeah, the COVID business, I've been really surprised that the place where I live, there's a lot of Christian people, and myself is from a religious family, and I always ask them, like the older guys, I like to tease them and ask them if they have stopped believing in God, because the way they're living and the way they're acting, it sure seems to me that they don't believe in God, because if they would believe, they wouldn't be so afraid. It's like, it's, if you die, you die. You go to heaven if you believe that. You don't have to run your head into a brick wall so you die. That's stupid, but I feel like the info I gave them, like how deadly it really is, it should be a good thing, but people get angry. That's the weirdest thing I don't get. If someone is telling you you're going to die, you're going to die, and another guy comes up to you and, okay, so I have some receipts here. Let's look at them. So the chances of you dying is basically zero if you are.
Basically zero.
So, and you say that and people get angry. No, I want to be afraid. I'm like, why? Why don't you just let it go? You can't do nothing about the so-called virus that's running rampant. You're going to get it and you're going to survive in 99 point something percent, depending on how old you are. And if you have cancer like 3 years ago, that's a bit worse. But if you are healthy, it's nothing to worry about.
Well, and yeah, it is the same. But what about the other side? You got the other cult. You got your far left, and then you got your right. Because you say the Christians are, you ask about their faith because they shouldn't be scared. And then you got real people who consider themselves real Christians over here. They ain't fucking scared. As a matter of fact, they're ready to go to war over this shit. And so you got two sides over here. It is almost like a soft ass civil war. It's probably the same over there. But how do you explain that? You would think that we should just have a logical population, but instead you have one brainwashed side scared and the other brainwashed side ready to go to war.
Yeah, I talked to a neighbor about this, and he was also a very religious guy, and he was telling me he was building shelters, and was talking about maybe converting a building he had so he can take in the Jews but he was like, this is the doomsday shit.
Yeah.
So he was building up so he can save Jews when they need to go on a run. So that's, I mean, I was like, yeah, whatever. Do you, bro. I'm fine with that. But
You might have the right idea.
yeah, I'm not gonna stop him. Might need that shelter.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's the cool thing about people like that. Usually will try to shelter like-minded people and help people like that out. That's what's important about this podcasting shit, man. There's a community. I see it. I aspire to be a part of it. There's not many like-minded people that will speak out and are not afraid of the repercussions. So I think it's very important for people who are afraid to speak out to hear people like you and I and Sam Tripoli and I like Mark Steves and Ron from New England. Anyway, there's a lot of these guys they're smart, they don't toe the line, and they're not afraid to speak out. Yet they're intelligent enough to grab some attention and possibly change minds if not get people to speak out. I think it's very important, and I think more people should try to do this podcasting.
Yeah, for sure. And if I change even one guy's mind or girl, that would be so satisfying to hear someone say, yeah, I heard that and I looked it up and that's weird. And I then started to look at something else, and that led that person to at least start questioning things. Because I had you talked about you don't want to preach, and I had Dr. Jessica Rose on, and she said the same thing, that she's not looking to preach to people. And friend of mine sent that she said that, but she also said straight after that, maybe we shouldn't preach to people, but at least the ones listening, you should start looking at things, because we don't have a lot of time. The deadline
Right.
is the last deadline is 2050. The between here is 2030. So at least we have to start questioning now.
I thought
When
I
we
heard
have time.
2025. I thought I heard 2025 recently, coming out of the World Economic Forum. As
Oh,
far as the
really?
money, as far as the economic change, they're talking about digital currencies by 2025. And it's probably a domino effect after that. But yeah, I think she's absolutely right. I think it's time to start looking into what you're going to do right now. Start looking into who you are going to surround yourself with, or who are you going to cut out of your life because they're not in it. I think it is about time. I hope that I hope we're wrong. I hope we are wrong. You say 2050. Shoot, I'm hoping that within the next 10 years they don't come and make it so it's gonna take me 13 years to pay off my house. So hopefully I got that much time to still own, to be able to have the chance to own this property.
And that's
So yeah,
probably going up now with the inflation.
yeah.
So maybe 20 years if you're lucky.
Well, I'm not under mortgage, thank God, but a land contract, that could be sketchy, but we've been with our landlord for a long time before we started buying. So hopefully everything goes on the up and up. But yeah, if you could buy land, if you can get just a little bit out of the city, I don't want to preach, but ideas need to be spoken. If ideas that we think are good, we need to tell people, or at least put the information out there for them to hear. And if you hear other good ideas, share that shit.
Yeah, and free speech is at least here in Europe is going downhill really fast. I saw a lady yesterday posting from Germany that she is facing 3 years in jail because she is calling the war in Ukraine a Russian special operation. I mean, that's so fucking crazy.
Jail, huh?
3 years for saying
Yeah.
I'm with Putin in this one. I'm not with
Well,
him. I'm not either. I'm like in between. It's war between NATO and Russia, and I'm like not going with Ukraine as the people are dying, but it's basically NATO and Russia at war at the moment. So
mhm. Yeah, and who runs NATO? Is America in charge?
yeah, you're the big guys, but you have it's the Norwegian that's he's the puppet, the Jens Stoltenberg.
Okay.
It's so he's the head of NATO, but yeah, all the big question goes to USA, and like the now when we sent in our application, it's the US that gets them, and then all the other countries look what they have to say.
Uh-huh.
I mean, Estonia, a little shit country under Russia, that's also NATO. They're not going to say no. Like
No.
if even they don't even want it, they want to be in NATO, but and want Finland too. But even if they didn't, they're not going to go to USA and say no, we don't want Finland to join. So it basically the arm of USA in Europe. That's
It's
NATO.
it's the money, and it's the money and the weaponry basically that does it. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. But we have some Swedish and also Finnish. We have companies that make guns too, and we sell them to Saudi. We sold to Saudi just a few months back, and that's so like we are cutting off ourselves from Russia, but we are selling to Saudi Arabia. And I'm like, do anyone see any issues here? Nothing. All fine.
Yeah. As long as money's being made, nothing else matters. You know, just let that go. The war is, and war will go on as usual. You know, it's
Yeah,
sad.
that's why I like Trump, even though, as you said, he's corrupt in his own ways and bringing in the big bank guys like everybody else does. But I liked when he went to Syria and like, yeah, we're pulling out, and he was like, I don't worry, we have soldiers on the oil field. We got the oil. Like, you guys went into Syria, took the fucking
Mm-hmm.
oil, and nobody is like, huh?
Nobody. But he goes in and likely makes money deals with these people instead of forcing with power, with might. He'd make money deals, kind of like what China does. They go around Africa. They're all over the world right now, all over Africa, giving them sweet deals so
Yeah,
that
they
they
have
can.
taken the same like you did before you started killing everybody. You had guys going in and saying we want this sport and we will pay X amount of money, and or we will give you a loan if we can use this sport, and then they
Yes.
say okay, we need the loan, then you put up the rate so high so they can't pay it, then you come back and say okay, you can't pay the loan, but what if we get rights to this harbor for 100 years? Then you don't need to pay the loan. And China's doing that now, and you did it for 70, 80 years before that. So
Just the fact that those laws can be grandfathered into me is corrupt. If I somebody like me 70 years ago that a law was made, I don't find that valid in any way, shape, or form. I had no bearing in it. Say I was born where I live, but I didn't have any say in that law. 100 years ago, that shit needs to be updated, man. I
yeah, for sure. But no law is going to change. They're going to get more and more and more until I think at some point, if you have too many laws, people are going to do something about it. So that's why, because we have in every country, we have the laws from 100 years that no one is following. So you have to do it slow. Put like 3 or 4 things in every year.
Yeah. Or well, you heard of Yuval Noah Harari? He's a
Yes.
science guy. Yes, you've heard of him. You've heard him talk about the useless humans.
Yes,
You
I
know,
have.
for some of the listeners who haven't heard, eh, you say that people are going to stand up after so many laws, but if we're all stuck on, you know, our freaking 3D headsets and mindless to that, we're mindless to everything outside of them 3D headsets, we have nothing to stand up and say. They're making it content, making us content being slaves to what they provide us.
Yeah,
It's
yeah, that's what's so super dangerous with Elon Musk.
yes,
Because I feel like he's playing both sides so good at this moment, and he's going to. I think he actually is going to do what he's saying to do with the Neuralink. He's going to try to make people that are paralyzed or something start walking, and that's super great. And I would do that the same if I couldn't walk. But
absolutely.
after that, you put it in everybody, and when you have a computer in your head, and you can start changing the code slowly. So after like 5-6 years, you're not even the same person. You're just a robot walking around with Elon's.
Yes.
Basically,
Yes.
he's what he wants you to think. So yeah, that's for sure coming.
I mean, his answer to information overload on humans is his Neuralink brain chip. You know, it works. It'll work like a hard drive to collect all of the information that our brains are not capable of keeping, that it's given to us all day, every day on our cell phones and on our computers and TVs and everything we hear every day. Basically, we are so inundated with information anymore. And yeah, Elon Musk is dangerous in my opinion as well. All the data that he's collecting right now through Tesla. If you own a Tesla, and drive it, you agree to share your data, all of it, everything that's in your cell phone. And you add that with these artificial intelligent robots that he's talking about coming out with next year. I mean, I could use
Elon building robots too?
Oh, it's Tesla robots?
Oh shit!
Oh yeah.
I missed that. Just know the Boston Dynamic and those guys.
Oh, check out his Tesla robots. He's talking about. I don't know if he's talking about releasing them to how often or how many people next year, but yeah, it's the releasing next year. But I could use my imagination and see what a robot full of the world's data from Twitter can do.
Okay.
Yeah, I think. You see it there?
I see some robots here. Yeah.
Scary looking, right?
They look like a better version of Terminator or something.
Yeah, they almost. I mean, they're sharp looking like his cars, but it looks strong. I mean, have you ever seen iRobot? That's what they mimic the most. But yeah, I mean, it is scary. Once they have control of our brains, I mean, they could just click it off. Not to mention they could control what we think and do and see in our brains, but they could just click it off at any minute or whenever they want. And who's gonna do that?
Yeah, that's. I'm also, when we talked about Tim Pool and his co-host Ian, he's talking about you need open code, but that doesn't really help me. I don't know if you gave me the Tesla code and I'm looking at the code going by, I don't know what that means. I can't do
You're
shit
right.
about it. So it doesn't
But
matter. The 99% in the world can't code. What the fuck?
You're right. You're right, but that's where we have to use our humanity and trust individuals who spend their career like Ian, for instance. He spends his life fucking the system if he can. I think that we have to be able to trust some people, and the fact that we don't trust anybody anymore, I think that's by design. I think that we have to be divided for these implementations to be put in place that we're talking about. And it's happening. We're staying divided. It's not getting better.
Yes, definitely getting worse. And the sad thing is, I'm seeing what you guys have in America now is way more divided than we are. But I'm seeing it creeping in, and it's like all the trans issues and everything is like if you're white and straight, you are like basically dog shit human and should go and kill yourself. And that rhetoric is coming slowly here too. And now I saw the EU, they made a new law that I think 1/3 of every board member in every company in EU needs to be a woman.
Ah,
So that's a huge change, I think, from many
yeah.
companies that start. They need to fire some hetero cis white guys or whatever they call them.
Oh,
I don't,
it's
and that's also when shit goes down, because when you have to hire people because they look like something, you don't have they might not have the capability to run the company. So that's not a good thing.
yeah, you're seeing that with the media outlets here. I guess I can use CNN for a small example. They went woke as hell, and now they're having to purge all their employees. They're having to get new people in because they've lost so many viewers. They have to change their structure to try to keep their company. Um, so that's what I see happening there is companies going down the drain, just like what you're saying. They ain't gonna have the capabilities to run the companies. And it's no secret that there are white straight males. Well, they pretend to be straight mostly at the top of most businesses, and they're corrupt. And we need to get rid of them son of bitches. But we got to do it the right way. Uh, how to do that, I don't know, other than blow up the whole system. But I don't think that's gonna work.
Yeah, that's we need to change our mindset, because I'm gonna not name a name, but if he listens, he knows for sure who I'm talking about. So one of my friend he is the guy. If he went into a big company, a big bank, he would be on the Illuminati dinners eating children, because he's like, everything that matters to me is me and money so I can retire my family. And when you have that, when you think like that, there's really nothing you won't do to make it happen. So, and I think there's millions of those kind of people that would do anything to feel like they're on the top of the world. And
So that friend of yours, is he spiritual by
no,
chance?
no, he was when he was younger. He's no more.
Okay. See, I think if he was worshiping the right God, he would be on the top. Somebody like that, you know. Or I mean, I say the right God, it'd be the wrong God in our eyes probably. But I think they have to you always see rituals. I think the people at the corrupt people at the top, they're always spiritual in one way, shape, or the other.
Yeah, well, yeah, maybe. Yeah, I agree with we need like we can't forget that the Western world is built by Christian people, and
Mm-hmm.
the foundation is the Ten Commandments, basically.
Yes.
So yeah, but I do believe people can live without believing in God. As myself, I believe, and I'm sure how to tell it. I believe in like everything. I'm more like some Buddhist or something closer to that. I feel like you can, and that's why also the elite talks about we are trying to manifest something by sacrificing. So I think if you sacrifice somebody or something, it's you get rewarded, because there's a lot of different energy out there, and you can harness the bad and the good. And if
Yeah.
and that's why I'm like, if you try to be a good person and harness the good energy, and there's a lot of people doing it, I think it's, I don't know how to say this. It sounds so stupid when you say it, but I think the energy doesn't go, it doesn't have the power to fulfill everything everybody needs. Like if you go bad, there's not that many people that are going for the bad energy, so they get rewarded more.
Yeah, I can dig that. It doesn't sound stupid. No, it's because I do relate. I find in every type of religion, I haven't read into a lot like every religion, but like a basic understanding of certain religions, I can find inspiration in all of them. I can find good knowledge in all of them. So yeah, I can relate to Buddhism more than anything myself. I wouldn't call myself a Buddhist because I'm not educated well enough to say that. I don't know really what Buddhism is, except for that they believe in everything. I say gods when I refer to anything of a higher power. It's because I believe there's all the gods for everything. There's gods everywhere. I think religious conversations probably should be for a different show at another time. We could go for hours, but yeah, I don't think what you said stupid. I think the energy we put out and take a huge role or play a huge part in what goes on in the world. And I think if you can manipulate that energy, then you have control of the world. And I think the overlords have done that, or at least they're real close to having full control. Because you, like earlier when you were saying that you that only so many laws until we will rise up as a people. Well, when is that? Like, when is the final law that's going to break the camel's back?
I've been thinking about that too, and I'm not sure I don't even believe what I said there. Because if they do it slow enough, they can pull it off, but they're doing so fast at this moment. So I think even the most regular people are starting to look around and asking questions, at least like when they're going home. They're like, this doesn't seem right. Like the basic thing, they're like, the prices are rising and everything is Putin's fault. But then the prices was rising before Putin invaded. It
Yeah.
escalated it, but they did go up before, so it can't be all his fault. Like that's a basic thing you should ask yourself. And I think the easiest thing is if people can see the Great Reset, because this is the Great Reset that we're going through now. This is man-made. This is not just Putin. They plan to do this, in my mind. So they said we need a Great Reset and we need to build back better. And if say build back better means you have to build from something that has been destroyed. If you say just build better, well, we can start doing that today.
Yeah.
But if you're building back, then means we have a past. So yeah.
Yeah, it's very evident. It's very evident what you're saying is accurate too, because we're watching it get broken as we speak right now, everywhere. All the big money countries are, slowly crumbling. And when I say what's the final law that's going to break the camel's back and make us all stand up, I don't think that it's going to happen really like that. I think the revolution is going to come in an all natural, organic way when we finally value our sovereignties, when we finally, when we take control of our own personal freedoms. In my next episode, I talk about this a lot. When we make a parallel kind of existence to the crazy ass world that's going on right now. We don't pay them motherfuckers any mind. We just do what we do. We stand up for what we believe in, and if they take us to jail, I guess we do it with our heads held high. But being a good example.
Sure going to get a lot of people jailed in the coming years if they continue on this path. But
Yeah.
they have also, I've heard, I think it was Klaus himself that talked about it, that they have like in the plans that like was it 5% of the people are not going to go along and they're going to live separately. And it sounded like they're going to let people like you and me live outside of the Neuralink network or whatever company they're going to use.
Well,
Probably
shit, I
a
couldn't
lot
ask
of
for
them.
anything more. I couldn't ask for anything more than that.
Yeah, the thing is, I don't believe him.
No, I don't either. No, I don't either. I think that 5% or whatever we're talking about here, I think it's more like we're gonna be crazy ass people locked up in mental institutions or worse, they'll kill us or they won't remember us. I don't believe this is the first great reset, that's for sure. I believe that this has happened in the past. I believe I'm no historian. I am going to college for European history, but I'm very new in it. But I would say that Europe's history has a lot of how do I say, a lot of erased history or a lot of added history, one or the other. And I think it's due to
I think it's basically fiction.
yeah, I agree. What's the Dark Ages? Why can't we know more about the Dark Ages? It seems like all we know is what, fantasy movies.
Yeah, and I think the generations that have, like, say, the last 100 years have grown up and they have been telling their stories, and now basically the last 40 years or something, people watch TV and watch Hollywood and actually think they're watching some historical based movie.
Yeah, right, exactly. And we have a false reality in our head.
Yeah, for sure. Shout out to False Reality Check.
Yeah. Shout out, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, those are good people. Those are really good, cool people. But where were we? I don't know, man. It seems like I'm just rambling on anymore. But
yeah, we have been at it for an hour. You said
it's
if you can manage an hour, and we have done it easy, I
oh,
would say.
I could ramble on more about crazy shit. I mean, I don't have to be anywhere for another couple hours, but that said, I do want to let you know before anything else, I am super excited to be here. I really am. I have to thank you big time for inviting me to come on. I forgot to hit record on my audio device. I'm gonna tell all my people to.
That's why it's just me. That's I was wondering. I was watching. Why is just me saying I'm recording? But yeah, I will send the audio to you. It's no problem.
So I can record straight from Zoom.
Yeah.
See, I'm totally new at this, man. I'll figure it out. I will get better at everything I'm doing as far as this podcasting shit goes. Technology ain't my thing. I'm more into nature. I have always been. But
I'm a gamer, so I'm into technology. I just don't know anything about it. So
I got you.
But I'm going fishing now, actually, after this.
Are you fishing?
Yeah, I'm going. We have in my little village every year, one weekend every year, they have put down 1,200 kilo of, is it salmon? No, that might, well, it's a fish that we fish up, and it's a little competition, and if you get the biggest one, you get some prize and stuff like that.
Nice. Nice. So is that the only time you'll be fishing is just during the competition?
Yes. I went before this and put down my fishing rod for like an hour and a half, and it felt like I was sitting there for like 10 hours.
Oh.
But
Yeah,
I'm gonna bring some beers and maybe the time passes and hopefully
that
get some fish.
yeah, if you catch a buzz, it's almost as good as catching a fish when you're out, almost. It's fun. Yeah, you mentioned fishing. I have to say on here, where I live in a county in Northwest Michigan with over 60 lakes in it. The national forest up here, it's a beautiful place. It's a beautiful place. I guess shout out to Michigan because we're doing it good right here where we're at. I have to do
That's
that.
awesome. That sounds a bit like our country. We are like known for the lakes.
It's
The
beautiful.
million lakes country or whatever, the 100,000 lakes. We have some
Oh.
wording for it that we have a lot of lakes. But yeah, plug your stuff and tell where people can find you. Obviously, we will send the links so it's easier to just click, but shout it out.
Okay. All right, well, I'm Chris Burns. I don't think you guys know me. My podcast is Searching for Starseed. Right now, I'm on Anchor and Spotify. I link my my personal email on there for whatever kind of interactions I can get. There are other options on Anchor. I don't really know them yet. Like I said, I'm still trying to get used to whatever all kind of support options there are. But hell, just listen. I'll be glad. That's all I really got to plug, buddy.
That's awesome. And the guys on his end, my name is Ron, and I have the Enlighten Me with Ron podcast, and we're going big here. I think I'm going to be on the Union on Unwanted on Monday, and I have some guests in between this. Also, I have Charlie coming up, and if I'm lucky, it looks like I have Richard Gage from Architects of Engineers 9/11 Truth coming in the first next month, hopefully, if that works out. And by the way, about getting guests, just send an email and say hello.
Excellent. I sure will. I'm gonna try that. Thank you. Thank you much for everything right here today. This is fun. I will be linking you in my podcast notes too. I'm sure a couple of my people will be wanting to listen to you.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, have a great day and keep on.
Absolutely. Peace out.
Peace.